Let's talk a little bit about how your nervous system is the foundation of anything great that you want to do. Our nervous system, really. You know, we think there's so many fantastic people out there sharing so many hacks, whether it's a biohack, a productivity hack, a performance hack, et cetera, et cetera. But beneath all of that, there's something else, something more basic and foundational that we really have to pay attention to and nurture, which is the baseline of our nervous system. How well can we regulate our nervous system? This is more than just being stressed or not stressed, calm or not calm. Our nervous system drives the way we perceive the world, the way we communicate, the way we process information through our senses and integrate it, and the way that our brain cues us for success and performance. So when we're triggered, when our nervous system is in an activated state, these days we kind of think of that as like, oh no, fight or flight, that's bad, right? Fight or flight, bad, relaxed, good. It's not that simple, unfortunately. Our nervous system is a work of genius that we have these switches, right? On the one hand, we have a state of rest and digest. It's a time for healing. It's a time for our cells to regenerate. It's a time for us to take in the nutrients and send them around to all the cells of the body. It's a time for our brain to recuperate. And that's beautiful. We have this other switch, which is what we know as fight or flight. And this is there as a survival mechanism for just a moment to prioritize our body's energy and body systems for the sake of survival. And you can imagine from an evolutionary point of view why this is absolutely crucial. There's a temporary danger. The so-called saber-toothed tiger is there on the horizon. We need a little jolt of adrenaline. We need a little extra energy and focus for a short little burst in order to do what we got to do to survive, whether that's fight or flight, etc. But here's the problem. In the modern world, our systems are not really designed to distinguish between true threats to our survival and just what we would call stressors. In its natural state, our nervous system will self-regulate. We will get the trigger. We'll be activated into fight or flight. But then when the danger has passed, our breath returns to normal. All these other physiological effects begin to come back down into homeostasis, and we're back into a state of parasympathetic rest and digest. But in the modern world, in the 21st century, it's stressor after stressor after stressor, which means we're kind of always on at least a microdose of that fight or flight, right? There's never a real deep opportunity, unless we're intentional about it, to come back down into full homeostasis, into full parasympathetic. What this means is you may think you're killing it because you're being hyper-productive, right? You're burning the candle on both ends, you're hustling, you're making it happen. You're using the energy, right? That may be true, but actually you're performing at a much lower level than you could be if you allowed your body to recuperate via your nervous system. So this is why we must learn now more than ever to consciously down-regulate, right? Intentionally throughout your day, throughout your week, find those moments to use the tools and the exercises that are so available to us now, so available, validated by science, by stacks and stacks of studies about the effects that these practices have on our cortisol levels, right? On the regions of our brain that help us get back into a balanced state. So setting that intentional time in your day, in your week, to bring your system back into balance so that you are really ready to perform, and not just perform, to excel, to thrive, and to expand. And it's not real sexy and glamorous. There's a lot of things out there. like the more intense forms of breath work, which I do and facilitate. They're for their specific moment. They're beautiful practices, but they're not a foundational practice. Things like ice baths, which I do and facilitate, they have their moment, but they're not a foundational practice, in my opinion. The foundational practices are the less sexy, less glamorous, a little bit more boring mindfulness practices, coming back again and again, back to the right now, back to the present moment. And this is what brings our body back into balance. And there's so many ways to do this. I know I said boring, but I don't think they're boring. There's so many ways to do it. There's such a variety of practices. I've actually got a course. I've got a course called 10 Days of Mindfulness. And I kind of take you through 10 days of reflecting on this, of trying to make this a habit in your life. And each day I introduce a different practice. I offer an audio guided practice, a different practice each day, so that you can kind of take that sample platter approach and see which of these practices resonate with you, work for you. We try all different kinds of angles and anchors and things like this. But I really implore you, if you're a person who wants to grow, who wants to expand, who wants to make a big impact, you're going to have to nurture this basic foundation of taking care of your nervous system. And mindfulness really is one of the most powerful ways to do that.